I always thought I'd try to be a little fly. Like technology, and I was shy with it. I'll be honest with you, putting it out there. I would put it out there and stuff, but not really be bold with it.
A few episodes ago, I was doing an interview with a gentleman, and he was expressing the importance of marketing, and it got me to thinking afterwards, because sometimes people think that customers are just going to walk in.
You build it, they'll come, right?
So they have this mentality like, oh, I just do it, especially in certain industries when it comes to like churches or religious institutions and things as such, that they put no drive into marketing. This is a real example. And so churches would market, this would be their marketing plan, they'll give out to the community. So they're marketing to people that can't really help move the budget line. And they're not thinking that through. They're just saying, oh, we want to. And then if they get the food through the government, they can't even invite the people that they give the food to their church. So in their mind, they feel like they're doing a marketing campaign, and they look at, they don't like to use the word marketing. They want to say we're just evangelizing, but evangelizing is
It's
marketing.
marketing.
And this is not a church centric episode, but if you're in small business and you're thinking like this, then you have to be your own brand evangelist. My name is NaRon Tillman. This is Walk in Victory. And we sit you at the feet of the masters and have conversations to help you evolve your life. Today, we have our Tech Diva, Audrey, as our master. How are you?
I'm awesome. How are
I'm
you?
good.
Thanks for having me,
No,
Naran.
thank you for joining us. So, when you hear the word marketing, what is the first thing that pop into your mind?
Promotion. That's what I think about.
Most people think that promotion is just like word of mouth. There's some things that happens word of mouth, right? You go to and you're looking for good ribs, and they say, man, the best ribs is that little. You see that little corner down there? That little. So that's word of mouth.
Sitting out front.
Yeah. That's promotion, and that's one way to do it. But when we
Yeah.
say promotion, what do you say to your customers, your clients, your constituents that come in and they talk to you as the tech diva when we talk about promotions?
Yeah. So it's like we want to set up a campaign. So what have you already done? I want to know what you've done already, first of all. And then I'll take it from there. Okay, so have you thought about trying this? Or let's look at the big picture, the end goal. What is it you're really trying to accomplish? And then we can go backwards and figure out like how and the where to do the promotions or campaigns. We won't call them ad campaigns, or even if it's organic. Yeah.
What are some of the most common things that you see when you're sitting with somebody for the first time and you start to go through maybe their customer avatars? Or what are some of the common problems that you see that you have to work them through first?
Okay. Yeah, so that one key word you just said there was avatar. Who are you serving? So sometimes, because I made that mistake when I first got started too, saying that I didn't even use the word avatar. I just said my niche or my customer base or my target market is another buzzword, were small businesses. That's a whole lot. It's a whole lot of people or different types of demographics built from one end of $1,000 a month to $10 million a month. So you really have to hone in. So really try to get people to describe or define what their market is. So who are you really serving? And then once you find out who you're serving, then you can what is their problem? Then you can, I'm getting all crazy here, get their messaging. Then you can formulate the message to that market. So you're speaking directly to them.
So let's go through your personal journey. How did that look for you when you said small businesses? Because when people say define your market, sometimes we are broad in our thinking. But how did you niche down? How did you really decide what area of small business or who in small businesses that you were going to impact?
Yeah, I looked backwards actually, and figure out, well, okay, who am I actually serving right now? Who's that? That main, who's in my bullseye? Who's mostly in the bullseye, and that's how I discovered. who my market really was. And once I discovered that, okay, is that really where I want to focus? Because sometimes just because you end up there doesn't mean that's where you really want to be or should be. But I liked it. So I stayed there, but you and don't want to scare anybody. That's the only people you can serve are the ones in the bullseye. There's a lot of rings around there. So you're going to get other folks. So say, for instance, when I first started, you're talking about churches, those were my first clients because the person that I did something for was a Christian and he was having concerts and things. So there was some graphic design work. And that's how I got started and did things for my own church as well. So those clients, those type of clients are still there, but my main focus are, I call them wise women, the seasoned sisters. Because that ended up being the majority of people that I in the client base that I was serving, and it just made sense to start. So I'm still retrofitting and evolving all the content around that because once you find it out, sometimes it's hard to commit to it because you're so used to hanging out everywhere. So then to try to bring yourself in and focus, and that's important.
Yeah, so talking about that church market, like what I'm saying to pastors now is
Hmm.
we're at the place where maybe they need to reconsider how they allocate the budget instead of focusing on music department, praise teams, and all of that. Looking at tech and AI. If you were a fly on the wall hearing that conversation, what would you say, yay or nay?
I would say yay. I'm on both sides there, right? I'm in the pew, but I'm also in the business world. So I understand.
Because it does lean into that if you build it, they'll come mentality. We got great music, we got great preaching, we got all this, but nobody know you're there. Like, you have people that know you're there, and you can't rely on people just to. We don't have yellow pages anymore. You do tell, do tell.
Okay, sidebar, but real quick. When I first got into business, it was like 33 years ago, and I didn't say that, but so basically everything was print. Okay, so we didn't have the websites and things then, so we didn't have those kind of campaigns. And so, as a graphic designer, I would also be like a wholesaler or an intermediary to a commercial printer. And so the print houses, they needed to know that I just wasn't bringing work to them and trying to get discounts. So the business was in the home, just like today. Although people thought it was weird then, that my basement was rearranged and I had a little business area. But anyway, real quick, so I had the phone line. It was a separate phone line, and so he said, "You really need to." I forgot what his words were, or whatever, but I had to get a business line. And so the Ohio Bell, not AT&T, as it is now, they actually put a business line inside my home. And I showed up in the business section of the white pages, and of course, I was in the yellow pages. So I always look back at that. That's a technology, right? The listings. You have Google listings now and other Find Me Here, Yelp, and all of those things. So that's a funny story I like to tell.
No, and it's funny because a few episodes I was talking to someone about marketing and AI and stuff, and I recounted a story about when my first business got listed. That was a big thing, right? You're like, man, I'm in the book. that
I'm
Yeah,
legit.
that gives you a sense of legitimacy. So what gives the end user right now a sense of legitimacy? What are some of the things that we see people lacking that they need to help legitimize who they are in their digital blueprint? Because a lot of times they overlook that digital blueprint.
Yes, absolutely. So aside from your website, which is basically your glorified phone book listing, right? Because you can have all types of information here. But aside from that, I don't see business Facebook pages or your LinkedIn or Instagram. So most of the what I'll see is they're all personal profiles.
Mm.
So you don't get the that you would normally get with a business listing or a business, excuse me, a business platform.
And the reason why a lot of people use their personal profiles is because it's easier to get engagement from their friends than it is to build up a business in their mind. But if they're niching down to an audience, it's necessary.
Oh, absolutely. And then you can promote because it's better for promotions, your events, and it's just some more features, some tools that you have access to. That doesn't mean you won't post on your personal profiles, but most of your stuff should emanate or start with that business page and business profile.
So you've been in the business for some time now, and you've seen transitions. This new transition that we're standing in the middle of, what are some of the things that you've seen, and what are some of the things that either excite you or give you cause to pause?
Yeah. Of course, it's going to be artificial intelligence. And I'm sure we want to make sure the audience knows that it's not new. It's just, it's evolving like everything else, just like those page listings. So that's evolved. And we don't have the physical telephones that we used to plug up. Everything is digital. So getting into artificial intelligence, start small, start with a little bit, but do your research because there's a lot of, you want to say, conspiracy theories or negative vibes and conversations centered around it. But until you really get your hands on it, you won't understand it because it's easy to go to the negative sides versus the personal side of it. So yeah, so for me, the emerging technology of the generative AI and now the AI agents. And this thing is moving so fast. By the time you get comfortable with one little area, it's just expanding. And the emails that I get from companies using it this way and that way, and really, it's damn, am I behind? Wow, just making sure.
That we stay
Yes.
up with. It's funny because the word prompt engineering was the catchphrase, and it still is. It's still meaningful. But the new word is context engineering, where it's prompt engineering, but they're focusing on context. Really, like what the discussion that we're having today about target marketing, targeting your prompts to provide the agent with the proper context, because just prompting the agent can give you the Wild West. It's just like saying small business.
Yes. Good point. Good point.
So that's the new thing, and it's funny because I've just finished our book, which will be out in this fall, sometime this fall, and
Awesome.
thank you. And I had to go back and revise. I'm like, all right, so here's the new terms because we don't want to be outdated in the
Oh
information.
my goodness. Yes, yep, absolutely. And you said book. I started my book a long time ago before I left the first, not the first job, but when I first started the business and left that position. And there was fax machines was the technology then. So there weren't websites. And of course there were phone numbers. So that had to be updated and then artificial intelligence. So I'm trailing you on that.
All right, so you don't. One of the things in so my book is showing how prompting is not new, because the way that we talk to ourselves, we're actually prompting the subconscious mind, and I'm showing it, which is the first real computer is here, right?
Yes. Oh my goodness.
There's a synergy there, and in one of the chapters, I talk about labels, right, and how when we were growing up, if you got a name, you couldn't give yourself a nickname. You might not have liked what your friends called you, and you try to get them to refer to something else. It doesn't work like that. Once they gave you a nickname, it's stuck. Family names. Once you got your family gave you a name, it's stuck. If they called you Shorty and you grew up to be 7 feet tall, when every time you go to Thanksgiving, they go, "Hey, Shorty." So you got this name, Tech Diva.
Yeah.
You see where I'm going, right?
Okay, you know what? I got to go.
So how did that come about? I'm pretty sure you was probably leading a lot of people when they was like, man, that's
It's crazy because I went through, evolved through Queen of the Virtual World. I'm like, that's just too long. And it's like, how did the Tech Diva? I always thought I'd try to be a little fly, like technology. And I was shy with it. I'll be honest with you, putting it out there. I would put it out there and stuff, but not really be bold with it. And my one group that I was in, every time we would have a meeting, even and we had to report out or whatever, you're like Tech Diva. And the way he was saying, what you got for us, Tech Diva? And so then I just went hog wild. I'm like, okay, I'm it. I got my colors, I rebranded the website and everything. And I was like, okay, I'm owning this.
and how has that even helped with the branding? Because you notice what you said, right? You changed your colors, you did all of these things. to really emphasize the label that was on you. How important is that merging of the visual and the essence of what a person feels when they hear Tech Diva?
Yeah, you have to be a product of your you have to be a product of the product, so to speak. And once I got into that persona, it was like it was no turning back. So when I wanted to be snappy, I could be snappy and have fun with it. And it was weird because the colors of the other podcasts were black and red, and the white's always your third color. So those were the colors. And even though those are some of my favorite colors, the all the other colors in my main business, they were the purple and the tiger orange. So those were the main colors. And so once the podcast got rebranded, it was like it was connected. It just fell in place. It was like, okay, you're part of the family.
Yeah. So, how important now is for small business owners that podcasting or blogging piece? Some people may say that, remember that we went through the whole email marketing is dead. Now they're back to build your list.
Yes. Own your content. This is very important. Yes, yes.
Talk to us about that.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, I kind of lost you there because we started talking. We got into the other part of the email list. Okay, so building your list. It's important because that's going to be your foundation of your followers. Because you always want to have, they use the word tribe too. Is going back to the old Twitter days. Your following, but those so you have an audience. You may start with 20 people, 100 people on your list. So don't get caught up in the numbers, folks. And but those few people on your list, those are the ones that you're talking to. You're giving your message to them, but they'll carry your message forward. But that gives you a solid base, so to speak, to promote to,
Hmm.
if you will, because you know that they're getting your content versus when we post on social media, it's on our pages and profiles. Everybody is not seeing it.
Hmm.
And sometimes they might see it a week from
We
now.
went through that. There was a uptick. Facebook changed their algorithms, and people were in an uproar because now a lot of people thought having a live was having a online business,
Ooh,
and
ooh.
Facebook started only giving you 30 days to. They would only house they're now only housing the lives for 30 days. So there's a bunch of people who's lost some great content because they didn't own it. When you're putting content on a Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn, and you may get good engagement, but you have to get it where it's yours and you can go back to it and do other things with it and house it in a place where people can always find it. And Google rewards that on websites. Google rewards that, especially if you're blogging and you have a podcast and they can see the connection between all of them. That is a good place to be. So when you got the synergy between the podcast and the business, the color, and all of those things, and it took you a while to get there and land there, how did that help your business?
It does because of the consistency.
Mm,
Then people were able to make the connection. And also, I've had ads in my podcast before, but was it really part of the business? Was it another business? Was it my business? And so even the ads that I use or promotions that I put inside of the podcast, they just work better. And so I'm just getting more engagement. Even the numbers, they're not huge, but the numbers have gone up as well. So I think people really resonate with it's okay, professional, that is part of my persona, but just to come out and be real. You can be funny sometimes or part of your personality comes through. I think people like that.
so here we are in the fall of 2025.
Oh, wow.
That sounds so weird.
Yeah.
Here we are in the fall of 2025. We have all of these things happening in business and all of these different distractions. How do you stay focused on being consistent in brand building, being consistent in your messaging, being consistent in bringing on new customers?
Yeah, you just have to follow a framework, keep things, for yourself, say what I'm going to do, and the frameworks can be different things. You have your task list, you have that. but also utilizing technology. So I'm getting more deeper into doing that because we have to automate stuff. We're used to hands on, especially being an innovator and a creative type person, that I am. I'm in control of it. So you can to let somebody else or let something else handle those tasks. So that help to keep me going. But also just really when I write that stuff down or it comes to my mind, I'm in Chat GPT.
Mm.
Okay, the paid version. I started off with the free version because I crawled in a little bit as a creator. If I It's going to create stuff that it's not going to be me. The authenticity you think it's going away, but if you're feeding it your information, it's just it's regurgitating it and polishing it up or whatever, but it's still you and your voice. So that again, so frameworks and so getting systems in place so you can do things. And if you're going to start off crude, like I said, maybe it is the notes on your computer, but so you can be reminded to do things. Put stuff on your calendar so that you make sure that you aren't forgetting things. So that can happen. You look, oh man, I got this done. God forgive me. That proposal, that opportunity, because it goes away. Oh my
Hmm.
goodness. Oh,
Hmm. And
yeah,
it's
and that's
a
what.
reputation is hard to build. A good reputation is hard to build, and one you want to sustain it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So one other thing that reminded me of too were like business cards. We used to go out to events. I was looking around for a business card here somewhere, but I don't see one. And so we should collect business cards, right? You go out, maybe it was an evening event, even if it was a daytime event. You come home, you have a stack of 20 cards you got to have to follow up on. And some parts of your life, you have a lot of energy, you can do that. And your honest busy, oh yeah, you're real good. And then you get a little busy and think, oh yeah, I'm gonna follow up on those cards, those people that I met. And it's hard to do it. So having digital business cards where people their contact information actually goes into a system. Here we go, system, and people you can follow up with them, they can follow up with you, and you get
Hmm.
reminders that hey, you met NaRon at the Pop Match event the other day. You need to follow up.
How do you stay current? What is your system for staying current? Because when you're running a business, it's hard to learn new technology. Sometimes it can be a bit frustrating. But what do you do? How do you do
Yeah, it is time consuming to learn new tech, but also yeah, it is. So I go to webinars. I still do that when someone's teaching on something, if it's something even that I already do. And like you said, the emerging technologies and the AI just keeps growing and growing. You have to stay. So I go to events. I'm a member of communities,
it?
so the tech communities, and some of it is the actual technology that I may have bought into the software. But as they evolve, I have to evolve with them. So you stay there. So they have all kinds of Q&As. It's the communities where you can go back and forth with the forums, which just you'd say it was you and me in the group together. But the owners, they actually come in and they answer questions and they give webinars too. Yeah, so I have my foot in the industry. You want to do events better. We all do events. You want to do them better. Go to an event workshop, something like that. Never think that you know it all or never be embarrassed that you feel like I'm the tech diva. I don't need any training. That's
Yeah,
false.
yeah, because
I
you
mean,
gotta stay the diva, right?
it's secret. My goodness. They're going to take my lipstick, my purple lipstick away.
And back like when Whitney Houston came out and said Bobby Brown is the king of R&B, it's like what? I know y'all got, I
Yeah.
know y'all got problems, but as grandma and them used to say, your slip is showing. So
Oh, you're right. Yeah, humble us. Just bring us back. Bring us back to reality now. Yep. You ain't all that.
so if I speak to you 2 years from now, what would be the story?
I would be speaking on stages,
Mm.
promoting probably a third or fourth book. Okay, we're getting our first ones going, and just giving back to the community. I would love to have some kind of entrepreneur center where I'm feeding into those young minds, or it may be some seasoned or wise minds, but they really want to move forward. And so being a little less hands-on in the creative side.
How do you stay creative?
It's in me. It's in me. It's just part of who I am. And then sometimes I'm like, ideas are coming like, okay, God, I didn't implement the last thing you told me. Wait a minute, how am I gonna do this? But the plants that I have in my apartment and on my balcony, they inspire me because you just think about they're just so creative. And sometimes when you're in a slump, I have the petite rose bush. and it was dying. It was looking all crazy. So I snipped up all the leaves. I put it out on the balcony, and I looked around, and it was growing. I took pictures of it, and I sent it to my niece, and I said, "There is life in death."
Mm.
And it was just so profound. She was, "Oh, dang, that's a sermon in that, Auntie." And it was, and now this thing is out there, all kind of buds. It's just budding all over the place. And the thing is sometimes we do get in slumps, and you just never you can find your inspiration anywhere. Since that's what I like, plants are one of my things. So maybe something else for somebody else to get inspired, and it just sparks your creativity. So it's not that okay, it may not be a growth thing, but it may just, like you said, getting how do I keep my creativity going? Part of that's it. Not being tired. We can't always help that, but I'm like, you can't think of it like, okay, I'm shutting this thing down because I can't do nothing else. And then you wake up refreshed the next day, things are flowing and things will come to you when you wake up first thing in the morning before you even get out of bed. Like today, the word was visibility. And I'm like, okay, I've got to remember, what is that part of my slogan? Is that going to be something new coming down the pike, the next iteration or the evolution?
That's amazing that you can and then we have all of these tools now that when we get these downloads, we can say it and put it so that we can have it off to the side and do what we have to do. I really appreciated our time together.
Me too. Thank you so much, NaRon. This was awesome.
This is awesome. Listen, everyone, I told you we'd sit you at the feet of the masters, having conversations to evolutionize lives, help evolve lives. Yeah, heard it over and over again. And we don't ask for donations, cash apps, or Venmos. And I'm not knocking people that do. This is my give back to the world. But what we do ask is that you support our guests. All of the Tech Divas information is in the description, the website, the social media. Go and follow her. Be inspired by her daily commitment to giving to the world the jewels that she has learned through her over the years of experience.
Come on now. I hear what you're trying to say. I'm still a third of four children, so I'll be telling them they old, right?
So don't walk with your head down. It's good to laugh. Don't be all serious in business. Laughter is important and it keeps the energy flowing. But not only that, it helps to open up the brain to get what it is that we need to help the world out. Hit subscribe and share. That's your other currency to us. If you're listening on a platform where you can leave a comment, that helps boost us into the algorithm nation. And enjoy the rest of your day. Peace. No, can't see. There we go.